don't seem to be willing to face the truth. People believe what they want to believe in spite of the evidence. I remember when I was in the business world many, many years ago, a friend of mine had a little sign, maybe you've still seen it, I don't know, on his desk, and it said, "Don't confuse me with facts, my mind is made up." And that's pretty much the way it is today. Well, evolution has been an implacable enemy of the gospel. The whole purpose of evolution is to show that there is no God, that the world happened by chance. And I don't think parents and pastors and youth ministers are even aware of how thoroughly brainwashed the average young person is in public schools, even though they've been raised in a fine Christian home, a good evangelical church. And I think unless we specifically refute evolution and some of the other lies that are being taught, they are trying to, for example, push homosexuality in the public schools. You have Project 10 right here in Los Angeles system. And they're trying to pass it off as something that's normal and natural. And I won't get off on a long thing about that, but it has always been known as the crime against nature because it is unnatural. And let me just give you just a little bit of an insight. It is a violation of the very first command God gave, which was before the 10 Commandments. What was the first commandment God gave? Genesis chapter 1, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And homosexuals, lesbians do not do that. It is a rebellion against God. And in fact, if everybody adopted it, it would be the destruction of the human race. Okay? And that's why they have to prey upon other people's children, because they don't have their own and they want to corrupt them. And I was mentioning that just briefly, in a Calvary Chapel, believe it or not, No Reflection on Calvary Chapel, about 3 weeks ago or so. And people were talking to me, and a young lady was standing there and finally thrust a note into my hand. I asked her to stay. I'd be happy to talk. No, she took off. And the gist of the note was that I had insulted her as a lesbian, and that if lesbians wanted children, they would adopt them. Well, that was exactly what I said. But if everybody's a lesbian, there aren't any children to adopt. And I guess I had also said, maybe what really insulted her was, I said, I don't understand how you can have gay pride parades and gay pride day, when if you want to face the facts, homosexuality and lesbianism reduces your life expectancy about by 50% and spreads disease, and it is horrible. Okay, how you can have gay pride. But anyway, they have somehow managed to impose this idea upon society, so that the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the psychiatrists, they voted to make it normal. And you know what was going on when they voted to make it normal? The homosexuals were out there threatening to cut the power on their convention if they didn't come up with the right kind of a vote. This is not science, folks. You don't vote on science. But anyway, you have some Catholic seminaries where they say, I'm not saying it, they say up to 70% homosexuals. Really, that's in the genes. How is it strange that the people that had it in their genes all gravitated to Catholic seminaries? Isn't that amazing? And I mean, if you believe in evolution would wipe this thing out, wouldn't it? In one generation, because they don't procreate, so they wouldn't have any descendants, and it would be taken care of. Well, you know, if I think maybe it's important enough just to, I know Roger has talked a lot about this, and let me just put it like this. I don't even have to talk about fossils. Let's go to the mathematics of it, okay? Just as quickly as I can. I think it might be worthwhile. Let's just go to the mathematics, okay? You have 26 letters in the alphabet, right? How many combinations of those 26 letters are there taken 26 at a time? Well, you kids that are taking your math, it's 26 factorial. That's what they call it, exclamation mark. 26 times 25 times 24 times 23 times 22 and down to 2, okay? It's a number about that long, 400 and something septillion. I don't even know what to call it, all right? Now, Richard Dawkins, one of the world's leading evolutionists, in his book, The Blind Watchmaker, he says, the nucleus of every cell has a digitally organized database with information content larger than the 30-volume set of the Encyclopedia Britannica. Okay? Now, can you imagine the odds of by chance getting all those letters lined up in the proper order, and if one of them's out of the order, it won't work? So there was a gentleman named Sir Fred Hoyle. He's not a Christian. He's a mathematician, astronomer, one of the world's leading mathematicians and astronomers. He just went to his computer. He said, look, you've got to get so many, just even to have the basic enzymes of life, to have DNA, you've got to line thousands of molecules up in the right order. And so he said, let's suppose that the whole universe is made out of the stuff of life, stirred around for billions of years. What are the mathematical laws? Now, you can't argue with this. This is mathematics, okay? This is not speculation. This is mathematics. You've got to get so many of these molecules lined up in the right order, just at the molecular level. And he went to his computer. He said, what are the chances you can get the basic enzymes? I'm not a biologist. I don't know much about anything. But if you don't have enzymes, nothing works, okay? So what are the odds we can get the basic enzymes necessary for life? Well, he calculated it mathematically. You can't argue with it, folks. It was 10 to the minus 40,000. Now, if you're not a mathematician, you don't know what that means. So let me explain it to you. That's one chance in one with 40,000 zeros after it, okay? Now, you laugh, but we don't even know what that number is. Let me try to explain it to you. What are the odds that by chance, zooming through the universe at hyperspeed or, whatever they can do, you can reach out and by chance pluck a particular electron out of this universe? Have any idea? That's one chance in one with 80 zeros after it. All right, let's take every electron in the universe, and let's make another universe out of each of them. Now what are the odds that zooming through all these universes, you can reach out and you can pluck a particular electron out of all of those universes? It's one chance in one with 160 zeros after it. You better believe one chance in one with 40,000 zeros after it never will happen. It is a joke. It is a fraud. And Sir Fred Hoyle says, and they all know it. Well, he says, how come they keep teaching it? Well, his explanation is because it's academically respected. Well, because the only alternative means God, and we're accountable to him, and they don't want it. It's a tragedy that our kids are being taught this in public schools. And some parents, you don't know how deeply those thoughts have been implanted. And the kids may seem to be going along, with everything that mom and dad are teaching them and so forth in Sunday school, but they've got a seed planted in there, and it's going to bear fruit, and we need to give them the facts, the evidence. We need to reason with them, as Paul did. Now,